Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Mojo Medium here. Okay, are we started? Yes, we are live. Hello. Have you ever wondered about this? What is it? I know I've been kind of teasing you this week about what our topic is, and I actually do know what our topic is, unlike sometimes when I tease you and I don't know what our topic is. But today I do know what our topic is, and this is something that my husband has been urging me to talk more about. You may not know that my husband Don is not only my CFO, but he's also my muse and my advisor. And he tells me that you want to know about this. Before we get started, if you want to get in on today's special offer, which I'll be telling you about, go ahead and comment below with now. For that matter, go ahead and comment below if you're here live and comment below if you're here in the replay. I always come back and look at your comments after the replay. So if you're seeing this, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, my friends in Australia don't even see it until Sunday. So if you're seeing this then, feel free to comment and I will be checking back in to answer your questions and to help you out. Okay? Great. So if you don't know me, I am Susan K. Morrow Johnson, also known as the Mojo Medium. Find me on the web at mojomedium.com. I cure worry with my Amazeballs psychic readings, and I also help you become the star of your own life with my MoJo Magical Manifestation Method, which I teach to my stars and starlets. The Starlet program hasn't quite gotten off the ground yet, but I will tell you when it does, okay? In the meantime, we're going to be talking about this, and guess what that is? Here it comes. Are you ready? Today's topic is your RIPs. RIP is the fancy word that I use to mean your late loved ones. People you love who have passed away, or in layman's terms, dead people. Yes, I do talk to dead people. A lot of times I focus on the psychic part of my work, and I focus on the star part of my work, which is where I call myself a personal intuitive director, but you'd probably be more familiar with the term coach. So in that regard, I use my psychic abilities to help people to make big changes in their lives and manifest cool stuff. And then as a psychic, of course, I help people with the big four: relationships, health, work, and money, and anything else that's on their minds. But what you may not know is that in every reading that I give, if the client is interested, we talk to their dead people. So if you get a reading with me, you can talk to your late grandma or your late brother or whoever you miss who's in heaven. And in all my many years of talking to these RIPs, I have learned a lot about what happens after we die. I've learned a lot about what heaven is really like and what it's about. So if you have questions about general things, now I'm not going to give readings here on the Mojo Show. I don't do that. But if you have general questions about what happens after you die or what heaven's really like, or if we get to enjoy certain things that we didn't or did in life, please ask those questions below and I will be happy to answer them. Let's see here. I want to say hello to Andrea. Hello to Allie, Miss Allie, little mama. Hope the baby's doing well. Let's see here. Jenny Ruth. Jenny, I'm so glad to see you. Thank you for tuning in. And I would love it if y'all would share this video on your own page. It's real easy to do. There's a share link below or possibly off to the side. And Jenny, let's see, Andrea, you said, hi, so glad to see you live. I missed you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I missed you too. I haven't done a Mojo show in about a month. It's been about that long because I took 2 weeks off for Christmas, and then last week, as I think you know, I had to put my beloved kitty to sleep on Thursday, which is my usual Mojo show day. And on Wednesday, I knew it was going in that direction, so I posted a little video about, I probably won't be on tomorrow. I may not be on tomorrow. I had scheduled an appointment with the vet for Blue, and he had quit eating. And with a cat, that's an emergency, and it's usually a pretty good sign of, if not imminent death, at least serious illness. And he'd been sick for several weeks, and he was not doing well at all on Wednesday. So On Thursday, my daughter went with me and we took him into the vet and confirmed that Blue was suffering and it was his time. And so we said our tearful goodbyes and we let him go. I wasn't going to do this. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to get a hold of myself and I'm going to give you an angel card reading. I know you understand, but I'm still sorry for falling apart in front of you because I don't want to make you sad, so I apologize. I will get it together here in a minute. Okay, I'm going to draw an angel card for you from our Tomorrow deck, my Tomorrow deck of Oracle cards, which I have designed and you can find on my website at mojomedium.com. Interesting. Okay, so today's card for you, today's reading is Hydrate/Quench. And today the reading is quite literal. The card is quite literal. You need to be literally drinking water today. You also need to quench your thirst in other ways. If you like to drink tea or if you like to drink soda, I'm not a big fan of that for health reasons, but if you like to drink soda and you're really wanting a soda today, go ahead and indulge that, because today you need extra fluids. And I can see this is for me too. As I'm crying out my salty tears, I got to replace the electrolytes, right? So hydrate and quench today. That's what's really important. Here in Houston, Texas, we've got a little bit of rain going on outside too, so maybe the earth is also hydrating and quenching. Okay, welcome to the MoJo Show, my friends. Please share this video. Don't you love my flashcards? I love my flashcards. Please share this video. I should make one that says applause, like they do on TV shows. They have a little flashing light that says applause or laughter, So please share. I'd really appreciate it. And please comment below with your questions about RIPs, your late loved ones, dead people, and heaven. And remember to comment below with the word now for this week's special offer, which is coming up in a little bit. Okay, time to talk about RIPs or dead people. Let's see here. Tweed, thank you. I'm doing fine. Yes, you said sorry for your loss. You're doing fine. I am. I really am. It's been a week, and I know that grief takes a long time, and I've actually been doing really well. I'm not crying every day, which is good. And I've been pretty accepting. I mean, Blue was about to be 15 next month. So, I understand that that's how it is, and that's what we sign on for when we get our beloved pets. But he was really the best. He was really the best. So, anyway, thank you, Jennifer. So sorry to hear about your fur baby. And Andrea, you were sorry to hear about Blue. Jenny, Happy New Year. Sorry to hear about your kitty. Thank you all so much. I appreciate your sympathy. And like I said, I did not have any intention. In fact, it was my intention not to get emotional about Blue on the show today, but I have already failed, so let's keep moving forward. Every failure is just the beginning of a success, right? Okay, so what we want to talk about today is the RIPs. And like I said, my husband really urges me to talk about it because he feels like it's really, really important. It's a big, important chunk of my work. It was very important to him. Before he and I met, he had, I think, 2 or 3 friends or girlfriends maybe who brought him messages from his late son, and they were deeply meaningful to him. And so when he met me and discovered that I had the gift, he was especially moved by that. He was especially moved by that ability, and he has always felt like that was the most important thing that I can do with my psychic gifts. Now, to me, I always think you want my help with the big 4 that I mentioned, health, work, relationships, and money. Those are the big 4 that most clients want to know about. But I know that there are some people, and you may be one of them, who really want to talk to their late loved ones, and that's the most important thing to them. Interestingly enough, I had already chosen this topic when last night at random, my husband and I were sitting down to watch a movie, and he had taped a bunch of stuff, and maybe I had taped it, I don't remember, but we had taped Ghost. You remember the movie Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg as the medium, who is starts out being a fake, but it turns out she's for real. And it's a cheesy movie, but it's so good. It's so good. If you haven't watched Ghost lately, watch Ghost. It's so good. Anyway, so that I'm coming off the heels of watching Ghost, right? And here we are talking about RIPs and my ability to do that. And so I can see really how important it is. And I've gone through, as a psychic medium, I've gone through ups and downs with this, because like I said, I always feel like what's important to you is your life and what's going on with you. But then a lot of my clients, maybe a majority, really, really do appreciate the spirit communication part of what I can do. And, in the beginning, when I first started doing this, and I actually used to host house parties in my house where I would have 20 or 25 people crowded into my living room, and I would make it into a makeshift auditorium, and I would sit there and give readings for everybody, and talk to their dead people, talk to their RIPs. And it always seemed like, just like John Edward, I did what John Edward does, what Teresa Caputo, the Long Island medium, does, what James von Prague does, except I'm better than James von Prague. So I did a lot of that, and it always seemed like, even though I had seen John Edward, and, I learned about kind of how to do that by watching him. I didn't learn how to hear dead people, but I learned how to present it to a group by watching John Edward, who is very, very gifted. And so sometimes it seemed like it was kind of showy, you know what I mean? Like it was kind of like, oh wow, look what I can do, spinning plates. And it didn't seem like to me that it was helping you, it was just impressing you. Does that make sense? And so what Don, my husband, has shown me is that actually communicating with your RIPs can be healing, can be soothing, can be strengthening, can be encouraging. And so it's become much more important to me because now I understand that it's more important to you. Now, let me just say for the record, if you get a reading with me and you're not interested in talking to your RIPs, I'm not going to make you. Okay, we will get into those big four and we'll talk about your health and your work and your relationships and your money. We'll do that, and we don't have to talk to your RIPs. But if you are interested, it's something that I can definitely do for you. And if you're wondering, like, well, how is that healing? How is that encouraging? How is that helpful? I cannot tell you how many people have asked, is my RIP in a good place? People really do worry about that. And that always surprises me because I know about heaven and I know that we all get to go. Yes, even suicides, depending on what kind of religion you've ascribed to. Yeah, it's true that suicides go to heaven. So that's a big relief. Is he happy? Is he okay? Is she safe? Is she in a good place? Is she aware of what's going on with me? Yes, 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 yes. They are happy. They're at peace. They're in a good place. They are getting to do things, and I have never figured out if the things they tell me they're doing are like for real in like a spiritual plane, like they're playing golf or bridge or teaching a class, or if they're like, well, this is what I always wanted to do, or this is what I enjoyed when I was in life, and so I'm telling you because you can't understand what I'm actually doing in the spirit world. Does that make sense? Okay, let's see here if there's any questions about that. Hi, Michelle, welcome. I want to remind y'all to comment below or to the side with the word now to get in on today's special offer, which I'll get to in a minute. And ask questions about your RIPs and heaven. not to give you readings today, because you know I don't give readings on the MoJo show usually. Although it would be kind of interesting to do a live video where I could do some talking to real RIPs. So we might line up something like that in the future. I know you would love it, but you can say below, love that. I would love that. So let me tell you a little bit about some of the people that I've talked to who are in heaven and some of the things they have in common. Okay, so we've talked about happy, at peace, doing things they enjoy, watching over you, yes, knowing what you're doing, knowing about your car wreck, knowing about your wedding, knowing about the new baby, that kind of thing. A lot of times, RIPs will tell me that babies are coming. So, before anybody knows they're pregnant, or before they even get pregnant, I'll see it. Not long ago. It was about this time last year, or a little before that. There was someone on the other side who showed me a baby, and I told the client, I said, he's showing me a baby. There's a baby coming, and I think it is this person's baby. And this person was not married and not trying to have a baby. But sure enough, 6 weeks later, there she was, expecting a baby. So that was a cool one, and those are neat things to do, when your late loved one can tell you some good news that's fun and happy and good. One time, a woman I knew in a networking group. She was actually kind of a rude woman who didn't have any filter. And when I started talking about my work, she came up to me one day after a networking meeting and said, "I'll believe it when you tell me where my husband planted buried the money in the backyard." And I said, "Did he bury money in the backyard?" And she said, "No, but I'll believe it when you could tell me where it is." And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? There are some people who will not be convinced, and that's fine. I don't need those people, and like I said, she was kind of rude. Okay, let's see. What else do you want to know about what happens in heaven? What happens? There was one man who passed away, and he had been very religious in life. And so I was talking to his daughter, and we went through some things that kind of confirmed that we really were talking to him, kind of the wow factor, or the proof that, yes, I'm really communicating with your dad. And she asked, how he was doing and what it was like. And he said, it was funny that heaven was not, usually people will say heaven was all that I hoped it would be, or was even better than I expected. But he said, heaven is great, it's not as churchy as I thought it would be. He was very religious in life, and he kind of bought into the heavenly host and the streets paved with gold and my house is a house of many mansions and all of that. And he got there and realized, oh, it's more like what I want it to be. And it reminds me of a story my dad tells about when he was a little boy, brought up by two preachers' kids in the Baptist church. And they would sing Amazing Grace, and where it says, when we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. And Daddy would think, good God, 10,000 years at church? And so he thought that church was not a good place to spend eternity. Anyway, so this lady's RIP, her dad, discovered that heaven was really a beautiful, wonderful, happy, peaceful place where he could enjoy himself and whatever time, I don't think there's really time on the other side, but whatever his experience was going to be there, he could really enjoy that. And that was kind of cool. So, if you are a religious person, or if your loved one was a religious person, it may turn out that heaven is more like, going to their favorite place on earth, going to the Dude Ranch, or going to the beach, or in my case, going to Disney World. I think I'll spend the afterlife in Disney World. Let's see, what else? Oh, this was a shocking detail that I revealed last year, and I don't know if you saw that show, but in all my years of talking to dead people, and when I was very small, I always felt like I was being watched, and faces of strangers would pop into my mind's eye, and I didn't know that those were spirits trying to communicate with me or through me. And so in all that time, even since I was a very small child and was aware of spirits around me, until the time that I discovered that what those were, and all the readings, the hundreds, maybe thousands of readings that I've given. Yeah, it should be thousands by now. Thousands of readings that I've given. Not one person on the other side in heaven, an RIP, a late loved one of a client, has ever mentioned any religious figure. There's no mention of God, Jesus, Mother Mary, Saint Michael, Buddha, Ganesh, Allah. No prophets, no saints, no archangels, no gods. Not one of them has ever mentioned anything about any religious figure. Not even once. Oh, wait, I take that back. One person said, when asked about Jesus, he said, here was his quote, and this is from a person in heaven. Jesus can be very useful. And that was all that I have ever heard about any religious figure. Now, I was raised in the church. I went to church on Christmas Eve because I really loved the music and the pageantry and the candlelight service. It was beautiful. It was almost enough to make me go back to church. But I'm not a practicing Christian. And so you might say, well, maybe they wouldn't talk to you about any religious figure because you're not religious. Aha. But they might have been religious. Their loved one who's sitting in front of me, the client, might be religious. Why not talk about it if it's there? I think it's very, very interesting. Maybe it's like politics and religion and stuff like that people don't want to talk about here because they don't want to offend anybody. Or maybe there are those figures and they're not what we think they are. I don't know. We'll wait and see when we get there. I admit I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot of them. Let's see if there's another story I can tell you about an RIP. One of my clients years ago, and she herself has passed away since then. I met her at a house party, and it was one of the ones where I wasn't, talking to the whole group, but I was going into a separate room, and they'd come in one at a time, get 10 or 15 minutes with me, and then they'd go back out to the group and, nosh and talk and kibitz and all that stuff. So, they'd talk about their readings, and so they came in one at a time. This lady's name was Dee. She's in my book about Dead On. Spirited Stories from a Medium's Diary, which I actually am out of stock, but you can get them on the website. So Dee came in to the little room, and I did the little quick reading, and every time I do those little shorty readings, I give them my notes that I write down. And of course, if you get a reading with me, I write notes and then I email them or text them to you afterwards anyway. Okay, so she came in and she wanted to talk to her late son. Fair enough. So I mentioned to her that I saw him in a football jersey, and she said that he was not an athlete. And I was like, he showed me a football jersey. I don't know what's important about that. And maybe there was a number on it. And then he showed me himself with a wreath on his head. Like Santa Lucia at Christmas, with the wreath with the candles. It's a wreath on his head. He had a wreath on his head. And so I wrote down, he has a wreath on his head. And she was like, no, I don't know. That doesn't seem familiar. I don't know. I don't know. So I was like, that's fine. I'm writing it down because I know from experience, and this still happens. The client will go, no, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. And then sure enough, it turns out like this one did. So a week or two later, I got a letter from Dee. And it was in a big envelope, and she had sent me a letter that she had written, plus a copy of a picture that hung on her refrigerator in her house. She said, I have to confess, I have a bit of a hearing problem, and I didn't really understand what you said when you said wreath on his head, but later looking at the notes, I saw wreath and head, and I remembered what it was, and it was this picture of my son that is on my refrigerator. I look at it every day. He's got a Christmas wreath on his head, which he did to entertain his niece. He's wearing a football jersey and wearing the wreath on his head. And I sat there, I'm telling you, I sat there, I had picked it up from the post office, and this was a while ago. And I mean, I haven't gotten jaded or anything, but I'm not as often wowed by these things. And that time I really was. I was really overwhelmed. I sat there, I picked it up at the post office, and I sat there in the car and just cried. I just cried. I was just like, this is such an amazing gift. Why do I have this? This is so wonderful. Thank you. And you can see how that was soothing to her, that was healing to her, knowing that her son was safe and was all right, and he was in heaven, and he was reminding her of his presence. Actually, Dee's son had died of AIDS, and so again, like with suicide, some people think that homosexuals, maybe they don't get into heaven, or maybe they're not having such a great afterlife. Not true. We all get to go to heaven. All dogs go to heaven, and so do all people. All right, let's see here. I'm checking to see if you've got any questions. One more story, and then we'll do. Then I'll tell you about my offer today, and then we'll do another angel card reading. Okay, one more story. This is my favorite story. I was giving a reading. This was a long time ago when I gave readings. I actually had people come to my house. This was back in Austin. And it was when I mostly knew most of my clients, or they were friends of friends, so I wasn't too worried about having strangers in my house. But I stopped doing that when it spread out to the point where they were all strangers. And I started doing all my work by phone or Skype, which is great. So if you're in Australia, we could do a reading by Skype. It's awesome. So this man came to my house, and I don't remember his name. We'll call him Bob. We'll call his late wife Sharon. So his wife had passed away in the last year or two. And in the pre-reading meditation that I did, I heard the word pansy. And I thought, that's odd. Maybe it's a name, Patsy. And then I could see pansies. You know what pansies are? They're the purple and yellow flowers, and it looks like they have a face like with a mustache. So the client arrived, and I said, hey, Bob, I've got something for you. It's the name or the word pansy, or maybe Patsy. He said, that doesn't mean anything to me. I said, do you know what pansies are? They're the purple flower with a face. It's a purple flower with a face. And he's like, no, I don't know. And I'm like seeing in my mind's eye, I've just got this garden full of purple pansies, and I'm going, purple flower with the face, purple flower with the face. Bob's like, I don't know. So fine, so I went on and I did the rest of the reading. We covered his big four, we did everything like we usually do, and actually we talked to his grandparents. I remember that, and they had a garden full of pansies, and we talked about their kitchen and the this and the that. And then what happened was that at the end of the reading, he said, you were talking about the purple flower with a face? And I said, right, purple flower with a face. And he said, when my wife was dying in the hospital, somebody sent her a flower, but it was like a stuffed animal, but shaped like a flower. And it has purple petals and a smiley face in the middle of it. And later he sent me a picture of it. He said, it hangs on the wall, and I say hello to it every morning and think that's my wife. Purple flower with a face. Okay, so that does happen, and you know what? That's exactly why I always write it down, because I've had enough experience where I say, this person's showing me, a string of pearls, or this person's showing me, sheet music or whatever it might be, and the client says, I don't know what that means. So I write it down. Very recently, I did a reading for a woman whose sister had passed away, and her sister was showing me herself as a lighthouse. And the woman didn't know what that meant, and I didn't know what that meant, so I wrote it down. And not much after that, the woman, my client, talked to her sister's daughter, who said, we're going to the islands to scatter my mom's ashes at the lighthouse. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that blows me away. Fortunately, I got to find out about that. I don't always get to find out about that, but I do always write it down because I know it's going to mean something later. I very rarely miss. So that's kind of cool. Okay, today's offer. Pretty excited. I did this last year and it was phenomenal. So what I'm doing is I call it the 2018 Vision and Inspiration Psychic Conference Call. I'm actually doing 2 calls. One will be on a Wednesday, the 17th at noon Central Time, and one will be on a Wednesday, the 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time. So no matter where you are in the U.S. time zones, or even if you are in England or you're in Australia, you can join in on one of those calls. So let's talk about that. It's very simple and it's very inexpensive. But what we do is we gather in a conference call. Very easy. You call in and you dial in a little pin and you say, hello, I'm here. And everybody, and each call is limited to only 10 people. I want to do that so I make sure I get to everybody. Everybody gets a reading. And what's cool about it is, and that's not all you get, but hold on. What's cool about you getting a reading and then you get to listen to everybody else's readings is that there's also something in the other readings for you. So I've had this happen too many times in groups for it not to be a real thing. I call it the group effect. Hold on. Sorry, I was checking on the doggy. She's sleeping under my desk next to Blue's bed. Okay, so the group effect means that when you hear somebody else's reading, like if you're watching John Edward or the Long Island Medium on TV, and they give a reading or I give a reading, and you go, wow, that sounds like it could apply to me. It does. It does apply to you. I mean, that I had the privilege of going to a John Edward event, a live one, with my daughter, and over here he was talking to some people quite a bit away from us. I mean, there were 400 people in the room. You know, not everybody could get a reading, as you can imagine. This is why I limit this call to 10 people each. So he was talking about, you know, a mighty oak and a little twig and a blah, blah, blah. And my daughter and I were like, we're mighty oak and little twig. That's kind of a little secret thing between us. And I mean, it was just so obvious that it seemed like he was talking to my late husband, but it made sense for those people as well. So that's what happens with the group effect. Now, also in the Vision and Inspiration 2018 Psychic Conference Call, I also give a special offer bonus or 2 to every person who's in there. And I also offer you a manifestation tool. And this past year, 2017, has taught me, I have learned and put together my own MoJo magical manifestation method, and it is kind of incredible. So I'm going to give you a few tips from that. I haven't launched the whole program yet, but I'm going to give you a few tips from that on these psychic conference calls, okay? And you're not going to believe it. It's only $20. That's all it is, $20 to get in on this. I know I should have done it $20.18 to get in. Yeah, I forgot to be clever. I'm sorry. So we're going to do, for $20, you get into one of these calls, the 17th Wednesday at noon or the 24th Wednesday at 7 p.m. Those are Central Times. Each call is limited to 10 people. Each of the 10 people will get a reading, and everybody will get a bonus or 2. And I'm going to talk about some manifestation tools that will be useful to you in creating the 2018 of your life. Now, the psychic readings will concentrate on what you need to know for 2018, what to expect in 2018, okay? That's what that's going to be about. Now, of course, you can definitely get a private reading if you'd rather do that. Cool. And actually have a little announcement about that. You can definitely get a private reading, and we can go much more in depth on your Big Four and your RIPs. But if you'd like to be on the Vision and Inspiration conference call, psychic conference call, if you want to be on one of them, comment below with the word NOW, N-O-W, comment below or to the side or wherever your comment bar is. Comment with the word NOW, and I will send you a private message that says, reply to this message with the word NOW, and then I'll send you the information that you need, okay? It's pretty easy. Comes to you in Facebook Messenger. Just comment below with the word now, and then I'll send you a message that says reply with the word now, and you'll reply with the word now, and I'll send you the link to the Vision and Inspiration 2018 Psychic Conference Calls. Only 20 bucks and worth so much more. Oh my gosh, don't you want to kick off your fabulous new year? Okay, I think I've really kind of covered the RIP topic. But if you have questions about how it works or what happens in heaven or anything like that, anything that you're worried or scared about that's not specifically a reading of your late loved one, please comment below with those questions. I will come back with the replay after this and answer those questions. I want to do another angel card reading for you before we wrap up, and I'm really, really excited about the Vision and Inspiration Psychic Conference Calls. Such a long name. If you have a better name, would you comment below with that? I think Psychic Conference Call really describes it really well. You know, don't you? But maybe it should be like 2018 Preparation Psychic Conference Call, or 2018 Outlook Psychic Conference Call. I don't know. Give me your suggestions. Okay, I'm using our Good News Only deck, which is also available on my website at MoJoMedium.com. And I want to give you some good news. Aha. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, the reason that we have these Good News Only cards is to let you know that there is always something to look forward to. There's always something good going on, okay? You just have to look for it. I designed these cards after I got asked one too many times, is there anything I need to look out for, anything I need to worry about, what bad is coming down the line? No. Let's focus on the positive. That's how we create more positive, right? Right. Okay, what you focus on expands. So today's card from the Good News Only deck is yes. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. It is exactly as you had hoped. You know how I mentioned that almost everybody in heaven says that heaven was everything they hoped it would be and more? That's what this yes card is. Not about heaven, but about this week. This week is everything you hoped it would be and more. There's something you've been anticipating this week, coming up maybe this weekend, something you've been anticipating and looking forward to, but you've been a little nervous that it might not work out the way that you hoped, but it will. That's what this yes card is. Yes, it's going to be everything you hoped and more. Okay, remember, please comment with now. Say now. Please comment. And please share this video. Someday I'll get the kind of software that will allow me to put these things really cute and nice in there. But in the meantime, I have my very, very professional flashcards. Please share with your friends and family. They need this guidance as much as you do, if not more so. And I know that a lot of people do worry about their late loved ones, and they wonder what happens when we pass. And that has been partially answered in this video. So thank you so much for tuning in to the MoJo Show. I will be back next Thursday at 2 p.m. Central. I hope you will join me. I don't know what the topic's going to be because I haven't gotten that far yet. Gosh, I've barely even gotten to, back to work after the holidays and the passing of my big blue kitty. So let me know what questions you have. I will be back here. Always come back here and while the replay is making its way around the world, and the Canadians get it and the English get it and the Americans get it and the Aussies get it, then I come back and answer your questions. So I want to help you if I can. Okay, until next time, my friend, I remain your friendly neighborhood Mojo Medium, Susan K. Morrow Johnson. Find me on the web at mojomedium.com. Bye. Oh, wrong button.